Ready?
So do you often take all these guys and girls together for a walk?
Yeah, everybody goes together. I don't have time to separate them.
I guess it would take a long time to walk them individually, wouldn't it?
I used to do horses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So these are a little smaller.
Horses and bred horses and raised them and got into the dogs. I saw a Border Collie at a horse show one day, and I said, "Wow, what kind of dog is that?" And it was a Border Collie, and it reminded me of the dog that I had, who was part Collie, and because we just had farm dogs. So I saw an ad in the paper. It was Greg Marshall selling his dogs for $200, his pup. So I went and got a pup, and that's how it started. And like with Border Collies, they're kind of like chips. You just can't have one. Yeah. So most people with Border Collies end up with several. Yeah.
The American Kennel Club calls Border Collies, quote, an amazing dog that's maybe a bit too amazing for owners without the time, energy, or means to keep it occupied. But they are popular, and they're easily identifiable. In 2021, Border Collies were the 12th most popular breed in Canada, many times more popular than in the United States, where they are still in the top 15% of purebreds, but further down the list at number 31. But they aren't for everyone. And I wanted to find out what makes this breed that you see taking top spot at agility trials and as a fixture on farms worldwide so amazing, and yet also so much work.
Border Collies are super smart and very high energy dogs, and they've also been bred, part of why they are the way they are is they've been bred to have low serotonin levels in their brain, to make them much more attentive to what's going on and be ahead of the game and think of things. So they are prone to anxiety, and so you need to have a life that is providing the mental stimulation for that dog to be able to do its job all day. So, you know, they're very pretty, they're black and white, you know, they would match a lot of interiors, but they don't match a lot of lifestyles. This is starting to
sound like 101 Dalmatians.
Similar. Again, Dalmatians, perfect example.
Not Cruella de Vil.
No.
Okay,
but Dalmatians were bred to run in front of gypsy caravans and bite people out of the way. And then people are surprised when they run in front of things and bite things, right? So it's the same thing. But a Border Collie's perfect life is being on a farm, getting to work, getting to wander around. Let's go do the chickens, let's go do the sheep, let's go move those sheep there. Let's walk, you know, my husband regularly walks 10K in a day around the farm, and that's what a Border Collie really needs. Either that or a teenage girl who can devote their entire life to the Border Collie and what they're going to do and do agility and, you know, really.
Because that is the other alternative, right? Is getting the Border Collie into some kind of sport.
Exactly. But still, those 6 hours while you're at work or at school, those are tough for a Border Collie because they need to be working and they need to be near you and they need to know what to do.
But that's because you're breeding working lines.
Yes. Yeah.
And there are different lines too,
pets.
right?
Yeah. These guys are not pets.
But I mean, that's like you could choose to breed Border Collies that are less working and more pet-ish.
Well, I brought all of these dogs over from the UK because I wanted those good lines. I went over and got hooked on all this sheep herding and these UK dogs because I went over and watched the Worlds several times, and the dogs are incredible over there. They're incredible here too, but I just found there's a quality about the UK dogs that are just above and beyond the American dogs, and a lot of people are finding that, and they're bringing a lot of UK dogs over and European dogs over now.
Do you think that's because of the long history they've had? I mean, every farm in the UK has a Border Collie.
And they have trials every weekend, and they do this all the time. They're grown up. They grow up like kids learning how to work dogs. So, and they get to do it every day.
So we're just trying to pick which of these girls. We have a farm, and we're just trying to figure out a hobby farm. Yeah, and we'll have sheep and that's. Oh, sorry, did your blanket fall off? There you go.
So Amy, or one of the other girls, is going to be a working dog.
Yeah, so we'll do sheepdog trialing with her, where we'll move the sheep around and make them do fun things.
Make them do like spirals
Exactly. Spell things out in the field, that sort of thing. Yeah.
So what attracts you to this?
Well, I did all of my veterinary training in Australia and New Zealand. So Border Collies, Kelpies, all Australian cattle dogs, they're what I grew up with. And it was, we had 5 or 6 dogs on every farm I ever worked.
Oh wow, so you're used to this.
Yeah, herding dogs are my thing. So we just lost our Australian cattle dog. He was 14 years old.
They're high energy.
They are high
You're
energy.
going for a lower energy dog now.
Well, that's my husband says something light and low energy. That's what we would like.
Compared to a cattle dog, I think most people would think that Border Collies are high energy, but I think you're going a step down.
Yeah, we'll see. So so we're trying to figure out, do we want the shy, quiet one, or the brave, rambunctious one, or the middle one? We don't know. So we've come every weekend to meet them, which is a real privilege.
Oh wow.
And we're still no closer to deciding.
So it's hard to make a decision.
Yeah, they've each got great characteristics.
So take all 3.
Well, it's not recommended to take more than one puppy from a litter because they'll bond with each other rather than with the people. And when you have a working dog, they really need to bond with you and listen to you. So my husband wanted to take 2, and I was like, no, we can't do that. But
That's interesting. It's something I had not thought about.
mm-hmm.
Right, so that if you want to have a working dog,
Yep.
whether it's sheep or chasing geese or whatever you're doing with your Border Collie, you would definitely want them listening to the person.
They have to listen to you and they have to bond with you. And the tough thing about Border Collies is you don't get to choose who they bond with. So there's just as much likelihood of this dog bonding with my husband as there is with me.
How'd that make you feel?
Oh, it's a bit of nerve-wracking, honestly.
Border Collies are very popular, right?
'Cause of
but not for
movies.
but also not for everybody.
Yeah, they're smart. They're very smart.
Sometimes too smart.
Yes, they're smarter than most people. They can read. They can communicate and read better than we can. They see. That's why they're so good at and on sheep, because they can read what a sheep is gonna do before the sheep moves. They know what's going on, and that they read people as well.
A puppy that's, maybe raised in a barn and bred in a barn and never been handled a lot, they get scared to be handled and touched. It's like, why are you touching me? Who are you? Introducing him to a collar.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about that. Yeah.
I put it on this morning. That's his first time wearing
He doesn't
a collar.
seem to care.
He did with the first minute. He kept
Yeah.
falling over.
He was toppling him over.
Yeah, it's clearly very heavy. He would fall over and then he was pawing at it. And then he started running around and playing and went, okay, it's fine.
And what's his name?
His name is going to be Phoenix.
Phoenix.
That's going to be, I think, his registered name, his fun name, because dogs never have one name. Let's face
No,
it.
they don't.
His fun name is Squatch, because he's a big boy. He's a big boy. He's going to be an average, size Sasquatch. So you got to think about things like that when you walk out in your yard and you're yelling for your dog. Sasquatch! What are your neighbors going to think?
It's a good point. Yeah. Yep. It's perhaps not as simple as saying, I want a Border Collie, so this is what I will get in terms of behavior and personality in a dog. They're, of course, individuals with individual traits, behaviors, and talents. But this is where breeding is particularly important, especially when it comes to Border Collies. So maybe more so than in some other breeds, it's important to understand the lines the puppy you're looking at has been bred from, and the traits and health concerns found in that line.
If you have a mom that's never been socialized, never been around dogs, or people, other dogs, different environments, and they have that anxiety, and then they're passing that on through genetics to their mom during.
Are you waking up?
No,
No.
he's just getting more comfortable. If they're passing that on through the puppies, and that's their response, well, the puppies learn to be fearful of things. Because mom is, the puppies are. But if they're socialized, they meet new people, they meet new dogs, they meet new blankets and towels and footing and stuff, it's a much, they're like, oh, this is okay. I've been socialized to many other, socializing doesn't always mean just going out to every store out there. It means texture.
Well, at this age, you can't do that anyway, right? Because there's a risk of
Yeah, you want to,
they're too early because they haven't had their shot, or
Yeah.
I guess they wouldn't have had all their shots or things like that yet, or and so you'd want to have it in a more protected, controlled environment rather than walking through Home Depot with a bunch of 4-week-old puppies.
Exactly, and for the most part, you want to keep them safe, and if people come to visit, it's usually after the 3 to 4 week mark you want to kind of do that, and it just introduce them to different handlings, touching people,
Falling asleep.
falling asleep, being comfortable being held.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Just to be comfortable that he trusts. Right now, his trust is, you're not going to let me fall. I'm comfortable in somebody's hands.
So who is a Border Collie good for?
Somebody with an active lifestyle, somebody who's, going out, walking.
So this is a really bad example.
No, that's
Couch
the thing.
potato.
Yeah. No.
Also somebody who can deal with the quirks and that. They tend to be more reactive to things.
I prepare them as much as I can, and then it's up to the people. They can give a single puppy more than what I can give all 5. I don't have enough time to give them individual time, whereas their new owners put all that good work into them. Yeah. So, and I get to see them again. A lot of them come back for herding lessons. Ow, that hurt. And so I usually get to see them. Yeah, and everybody sends lots of pictures and updates, and so it's great. It's really nice to see your puppies out there, and they're doing well, and then their friends are coming to me saying, I want one because I've seen one of your pups and it's amazing and I want to get one too. So what do I do? Yeah. So I have other sheep farms in Quebec coming to me asking for more pups because they've seen what the other pups up there are doing on sheep farms, and they want a dog like that.
How do you?
I don't even advertise at all.
Oh wow.
No, it's all just word of mouth. Yeah.
And how do you choose? Like, you must have to have a selection
I
process.
ask a lot of questions, and Tara has some really good questions. So I ask a lot of questions to see if it's going to be a fit. I have told people no, I don't sell to people with kids. Some of the farms a little different because a farm dog on a big sheep farm is not really going to be with the kids all the time. They're going to be out working a lot. So, and it's actually worked out really well. The ones that went to farms that have kids.
Yeah, it's a different environment. Though.
Yeah.
It's not an apartment in the city with kids.
Yeah.
The goal is to create a dog that's easy to live with, able to do the work that it's meant to do, so mentally able to do the work as well as physically, like structurally and all that, able to do the work. Hence the health testing. Hips are a big one because a dog with bad hips is not going to be able to run around your farm and bring your sheep back. Then DNA testing will rule out the possibility that you're going to have puppies that are affected with diseases. In Border Collies, there are a few diseases that if they're born with it, they won't live. Like that are terminal. The puppy will die before it reaches adulthood. So you definitely want to avoid producing that because the heartbreak of somebody takes a puppy home and it's 6 months old, it's suffering from severe neurological problems, which are actually a testable genetic condition that can be avoided.
Yeah. He's one of the crazy ones.
I'm surprised he's not trying to herd them.
He's trying to herd me, and she's trying to herd him. And this is why people give up Border Collies to homes, because
They think that's crazy behavior, but that's a Border Collie.
Yeah, and they think he's being crazy, and yes, he's annoying, but he keeps running circles around me and trying to get me to change my direction. So he's trying to herd me, but then she starts hurting him when he does it. So I think one of the differences in having the thought behind the pairings, the genetic testing, the hip testing, and that you don't find that in every Border Collie you look for, and I mean, it happens with other breeds too.
Yeah, I don't know what our cats are going to think of you.
You have cats as well?
I have 3 cats, so
And how many dogs at home at the moment?
none.
Oh, no, so it's the
yeah.
cattle dog.
It's just the cattle dog that passed away. So our hope is to get other dogs. So we'd like to have 3 dogs in the end, but we're going to introduce them sort of 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Easy.
No, we can't possibly do that.
As a veterinarian, you must see a lot of different people coming in with their dogs and other animals, of
Yeah,
course. But
yeah, definitely.
so, what is the one thing you wish people would think about before getting a dog?
I think there's a lot of people who get dogs based on the appearance of the dog. And what they don't realize is that those dogs have been bred for time immemorial to do a job. And the appearance is secondary to that. And so they end up getting a dog because of the way it looks without thinking about the way it's been bred to behave. So trying to get a dog that has been bred to do one thing forever and then asking it to stay at home while you work or, fit into between soccer and, hockey and all of that is really a hard thing on the dog, and the dog disappoints. And that's when we run into a lot of behavior problems. So for me, I'd say to people, really look at what your lifestyle is and try to get a dog that fits that lifestyle.
Border Collies are smart, energetic, fun, maybe a little crazy. They can seemingly learn just about anything. But it's because of all the characteristics that make them such an amazing animal that they also find their way into rescues more often than many other breeds.
The reason they're in rescue is because the breeders aren't taking them back. And I think that's really important. If it's a good breeder, the breeder will take any puppy that they have whelped and raised, they will take them back.
From my rescue perspective, a lot of people that buy Border Collies from, like I think we talked a little bit about good breeders take their dogs back. Well, the breeders that don't take their dogs back, those dogs sometimes end up in rescue. And sometimes it's people that have bought a dog from a breeder that have gotten, the breeder just paired a couple dogs together because they were nice colors or something like that and got some pretty puppies and then sold them to, first come, first served, and check to make sure that didn't talk to the family, ask questions, find out what kind of lifestyle or what plans they had, just basically show up with your money and you get a dog. And then the people don't have the right lifestyle for the dog, or because the dog wasn't necessarily from a well thought out breeding. Like these puppies had a very unpredictable temperament and then all kinds of problems in, like adapting to life and all of that. So I think it's, it's paramount that of any breed, but especially a breed like Border Collies that are smarter than most of us.
You said that they didn't fit in your life, and then you ended up with one in a rescue.
Yeah. So I always said they didn't fit in my life because I'm a registered vet tech, and I do physical therapy with dogs.
Okay.
So I have a very busy lifestyle, and I always felt that I didn't have enough time to commit to give a puppy of that energy that much time. So, and then I've always known Border Collies because I've been around Paula for years, and then I met Finn, and he completely spoiled me rotten. He's a wonderful dog, and he just meshed into the household right away. And so I decided, yeah, we'll keep him. We foster failed in 2 hours, to be honest. We got him home at 7:30, and 9:30 I texted and said, no, we're keeping him. How long does he have to stay? Oh no, that's way too long. We're gonna have to keep him. And he just fit. And he was in the cast for 2 months because of a busted leg.
Well, you're a rehabilitation person, so yeah, that's
Exactly.
like right up your alley.
Yeah, he's 100% sound with a really bad break in his humerus, and you would know when you see him move and walk and play on
Good
sheep.
man.
It's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. And then we found out that this beautiful lady, his mom, he's dreaming, was being bred. And one, I absolutely adore her, and I adore his dad. He's a wonderful dog. He's gorgeous. He's beautiful, and he's laid back.
So you do a second one.
And I know it wasn't me actually. My partner asked Finn, our other dog, if he needed a companion. He says, you're only 2. Pretty sure you need a puppy. And apparently he said yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I've taken 2 back in my time. One because he got hurt and injured, so she was going to send him to rescue. That's Finn, who Kim took.
Okay.
And the other was a 4-year-old dog that is lovely, lovely, lovely dog. And
Just didn't fit.
didn't fit into her post hole. So
That happened.
I drove to Quebec and picked her up.
Oh, wow.
And brought her back. Yeah.
But that's really important.
Yes, it's very important that the breeders are willing to do that. It's really, really, really cool to watch the communication and what happens between them, and we get to see things that most people don't get to see. Some people think it's vicious looking, but it's not. It's how they communicate. They can't tell each other off. They can only use their body language and their facial expression, which is their teeth, to tell another dog what they're thinking.
Whichever one goes home with you will be a farm working dog.
Will be a farm working dog.
So that's the ideal situation.
Yes, but I think a farm working dog at our house is different than a real farm working dog. So
Yeah.
they'll still be allowed up on the couch. And although we say now, not on the bed, I'm pretty sure that'll be coming. So
That won't last very long.
yeah, we're suckers. It'll happen, but they will get to work with livestock and that sort of things. I love how smart they are. I love a smart dog. So Border Collies, they can learn upwards of 500 different words. They can know
Wow.
all of their toys that you can say to them, go get me, I don't know, purple tiger, and they'll go grab you purple tiger. Like, they're really good. And a lot of the sheep farms I worked on, the dogs came and they already knew their left from their right. And, you couldn't teach them that, they already knew it. So I'm really looking forward to having a dog that I can work with, and we can be a team, and we can, achieve things that people think are very strange, but I find very fulfilling.
Yeah, some people wouldn't be able to deal with the personality conflicts of some of them, but they don't really get into it much. There's a lot of grumbling, but they don't really fight that often.
Is it harder or easier to have this many Border Collies?
Sometimes it's easier because they're all herding each other, so they're very happy getting that herding instinct out of them. And I think I think dogs in general like being with other dogs. And they like their people, but they like being with other dogs too.